Hey, welcome to my channel where I talk about dolls, and that's literally it. And in this video, I'm going to be reacting to the new limited edition Cinderella doll by American Girl, which means here we are again, another Disney doll, another American Girl release, another collaboration. And before I get into the details about the doll, let me show her to you just in case you haven't gotten onto the website to see what she looks like yet. Of course, she's going to look familiar because it's another Cinderella doll. And I have a lot of opinions about the fact that it is another Cinderella doll and that they gave us the playline first because I think it is going to affect a lot of people's opinion about it. But as far as the details go, she was released this morning at the time I'm uploading this, which was Wednesday, July 30th on the Berry tier. And then tomorrow, Thursday, she'll go to all tiers. And then Friday, she's going to go to all tiers or open up to everyone. It's because it's another Cinderella anniversary. And Disney does this. I'm sure Disney's going to have a big release planned for all her anniversary stuff too, because believe it or not, Cinderella is actually a really big seller for the Disney princess line. And I don't think a lot of people would expect that because she's an older princess. So now that I've kind of gotten a little bit of a little taste of what I'm going to say out of the way, let me show you the doll again so you can go into the details. As you can see, it's the same Josefina mold doll who was released on the Playline version, who's right behind me, wrong side, but I have her redressed. And to be honest, the Playline version is probably a bit more accurate to what people would want out of a Cinderella doll because they've given her a new hairstyle and it's not very screen accurate. So as you can see, she's got a little bit of a low bun instead of the high bun on her head that Cinderella Playline has. And of course, they've made her $310 and covered her in Swarovski as if that really is going to be enough to sort of justify the price to a lot of people who don't really care about Swarovski. And I noticed that I think there are only 100 Swarovskis, I think is what it said this time, whereas in the past, I believe Jasmine, for example, I think they had, more than 150. I just feel like there were more Swarovskis in the previous Disney limited edition dolls. And the other things that are the same for the other limited edition Disney dolls, they gave us a little bit of eye makeup. So if you look closely on this picture down here, she's got that same sparkly wing that people either don't care. It's so subtle that you can barely notice it. So I don't think it really warrants any kind of price increase, just in my opinion. And then I do like her drop earring that she's got here. If you look at this picture, it's nice. It's not very Cinderella because in the movie, she looks more like she has what look like earmuffs. It's like a headband that continues down into white earmuffs. And oh, here's a better close-up of the actual earring itself. Two Swarovskis. So of course, I do like Swarovski and I like the sparkle behind it. And here are her shoes. They look a lot like the Playline version of the Cinderella shoes, except there's a Swarovski crystal. So instead of being plastic, the plastic rhinestone, and there's like a metal piece that the Swarovski sits in. So I'm trying to mention all the things that would warrant a little bit of a price increase as far as American Girl would be concerned, but I don't really think it does. So here she is in her box. It's the same as all the other limited edition princess dolls so far. It's that berry color. They've got some Cinderella iconography around the frame, and she's got a nice backdrop. Most Disney dolls, when they do Disney store, when they do their dolls, they do the same kind of thing. It's a big window box, and the dolls present really nicely. It's almost like a little scene from a movie or something. You can just put it up on your shelf. And I understand that. And I used to be a very big Disney collector. I collected all their 17-inch limited edition dolls about this size. And those dolls, even though they weren't the same, it wasn't the same kind of body. So it wasn't a big 18-inch body, and it was like a Barbie doll. I can show you some examples. So this is one of the platinum sets. So these were, again, 17 inches, so they don't look the same. And I want to talk a little bit about the Disney Store limited edition dolls because it feels like now American Girl is following the Disney model, which is releasing Disney princess dolls that they all are not, they're never gonna, as a Disney collector, I always had this theory that Disney was never going to release the perfect quintessential version of a princess doll. You know, something would be a little bit off. You know, if only they had this or tweaked that, then it should be perfect. Because they want to release as many versions of a doll as they possibly can, so that you feel like you have, oh, if I, cut and paste or Frankenstein these dolls together, I have the perfect version of Cinderella in this example. And so now like I said, we had the Playline version of Cinderella, who to me looks a little bit more perfect, a little bit more screen accurate. And Disney loved to do stuff like that too. So in this version, I wish they had done what Disney did for their Sax doll. So this This is the, so when I talked about them doing limited edition dolls, Disney at some points did platinum versions of their limited edition dolls. So that would either be at the Disney store or it was in Harrods in London, England, and Saks in New York. And so for this doll, she was, so if you're thinking the $310 price tag is a lot for an American Girl doll, this Saks doll, this is a picture of my old Saks doll, by the way, that's what I'm showing. So I used to have her, and I believe when she came out, she was $395 US, and this was many years ago now. It was her last anniversary. It was probably like 10 years ago now, or maybe 5. And what they did right with this that I wish they had done, and that's where I'm circling it back to the American Girl doll, I wish that they had done a doll like the limited edition Cinderella. I wish she had more of a silver color to her dress. So as you see in the old Cinderella movie, the cartoon here, her dress isn't as blue as Disney loves to depict it nowadays because the princesses are pretty much color-coded. So Saks, when they did their doll to justify that huge price tag, was they made it a very screen accurate version of the dress. So it's silvery, she's got all the, like the hair, the headband is nice, the layout of the dress. These didn't have Swarovski, by the way, they were just plastic rhinestones, and they still did the $400 price tag. So in that sense, there are some things that are working for me with the Cinderella limited edition, you know, giving it Swarovski, making her look a little bit fancier than the Playline doll. But I just think, like, if we had gotten the treatment that the other dolls had, where they started out in limited edition and then went to Playline, we probably would have seen a little bit of a reverse where the limited edition doll would have looked a bit more like this doll because she is more accurate. And then the Playline version could have had the dropped bun or something and looked a little bit more, I don't want to say adventurous, but looked a little bit more creative license. And people would have probably appreciated the limited edition more. Because like I said, 6,000 pieces, I think that's more than the first run of limited edition dolls. I believe they were 4,000 except for Jasmine, who was 4,000. I believe they were 5,000, sorry, except for Jasmine, who was 4,000. And then, of course, Elsa was 7,000. So Cinderella being higher than the other princesses is probably a little bit surprising or confusing to people. And it's, I alluded to this before, I mentioned it briefly, that Cinderella is, I believe, when I collected Disney very hardcore. Cinderella, aside from Frozen, because Frozen is its own franchise, they're not considered Disney princesses. Cinderella was the biggest selling princess back when I collected. So if you looked, I think eBay did their sales one year for all the different princesses, and Cinderella was the top of the list. So that's why I'm saying it may be surprising to people that they would do so many, but it would also be surprising that Cinderella is such a big seller because she's an old-fashioned princess. But never underestimate blonde hair and blue-eyed dolls. And I think that's where Cinderella really comes in as a big seller. And going back to screen accuracy, Cinderella originally wasn't a blonde character. It was more of a red hair, like a strawberry blonde. So that's, again, circling back to, I wish that they could have done a bit more screen accurate with the details rather than just adding more things to her. Like if you look at the dress itself, here's the outfit. They've just put some layers of tulle up on, is it a peplum? I guess you would call that like a peplum up on the hips. And then they did some embroidery around down the length of the skirt. And that's another huge Disney thing. Disney collectors love embroidery. And I remember Disney collectors would say, you know, I could do without the rhinestones or the fake crystals and just give me some embroidery. And I was the opposite. I didn't care about embroidery. So that's why I don't look at the design of the dress and feel like this would be a must-have for me if I still collected. Yeah, if I still collected American Girl or Disney, I actually wouldn't have wanted this doll because the Cinderella Playline is already good enough, but I don't use them as Disney princesses anyway. But I do like the Disney dolls because, as you can see them all behind me, they're all very unique. When, you know, the design or the molds they use, the skin tones, they do make the princesses look very unique. And then they made the Disney limited edition not unique enough. They've just added some crystals to her and given her these drop shoulders, which is not accurate, but they've given her, like, so if you look at the structure of the gown, the mesh top is nice because it covers the cloth body, and there's probably a lot of like poof to the dress when it's on because it looks bigger, it looks more filled out than the Playline gown did. And I'm looking at this and I'm not really seeing why. Aside from being her anniversary, I think they could have done a lot more to make it more special. And one thing I've never really talked about on here is I was a big Cinderella collector, not the animated version, but back in 2015, they did a live action version of Cinderella. And I had just about everything that was released from the movie because even though I enjoyed the Cinderella animated movie, it was nothing compared to how I felt about the the live action movie that came out in 2015. And so I do have a lot of history with collecting Cinderella. And so the dolls that I would have pointed out before, the other Disney Store limited edition dolls, were dolls that I would have had if I kept collecting, but I did stop at one point. But now I just wanted to show you a little bit more about the Disney Store dolls that they were releasing at a time. So these are ones that I didn't have. This was the platinum set that came out for her. This probably would have been 5 years ago, and then the Saks would have been the 10, maybe, years ago anniversary. And so that's what I'm saying. They would release Cinderella dolls in any possible outfit. And so this is like her, almost like her scullery maid outfit that she wore in the movie, and they made a limited edition version of that. And they also had these things called 12-inch designer dolls, which would have again been different versions of that outfit. And so this is nothing new as far as Disney collecting goes. And it seems like we've really entered this era, we as in, if I was still an American Girl collector, but American Girl has really entered this era of collaborations. So this year, out of all the releases they've done, there have been no new characters. There have been some Truly Me dolls. There was a Samantha back earlier in the year. And everything else has basically been a collaboration, whether it was outfits or dolls. So it just feels like this is where AG is headed as far as dolls that are going to be released is going. That's a little bit of a hint. There's more to come, not in this video, but I'm saying like there will still be more things being released, in the future. And so the one feeling I have about the collaborations is, on the one hand, it's easy because the designs already exist. They don't have to write books. They don't have to come up with stories or do a lot of research as far as historical dolls go, where they try to learn about historical accuracy for the things the doll's going to wear and what their stories will entail. If they're just doing a Wednesday Addams doll, there's no story needed because it's part of, the pop culture lexicon. They don't need to do any more for creation than that. And then when it comes to Wednesday Addams and Disney dolls and things like that, there's already a built-in audience. So they're pulling in from different crowds. There'll be the American Girl collectors. There'll be of course, Disney Princess collectors, and whatever else they do a collaboration with. Nostalgia bait, if it's going to be something from, the 90s or a past era for collectors who are adults now and would have enjoyed things when they were a kid. So I just feel like we can expect a lot more collaborations to come currently, as we're seeing, and then in the future, because it's easy work. It's easy money in the sense that there's already a built-in audience. And I think a lot of American Girl or doll collectors in general will probably enjoy it, even if they're not into American Girl. And that's the other thing, is it branches out into other areas of collecting. And so I think that's something that you can either take or leave, take it or leave it. As far as Cinderella goes, I said I wouldn't have collected her, but she's not a princess I collect anymore. So on the not hypocritical side, but I'm going to make a liar of myself saying that I do think I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot if they release a Playline doll, or I was going to say Playline doll first and then do it limited edition, because everybody already has the Playline doll. They're probably not going to shell out, a little bit more than double to get the limited edition version. I'm not a big fan. And that's what I was about to say, is if they did a Tiana limited edition doll, I would probably want a couple of her. I would probably want, one for sure, and then one possibly to open, is what I meant. Whereas other people see now that they're doing both, I feel like that's where they're shooting themselves in the foot. So if they do any more new characters who are limited edition first, people are just going to wait for the Playline version to come out eventually, because I'm assuming that's what's going to happen for all of them. I know this was like I said, the first time they've gone from Playline to limited edition, so it'll be interesting to see how the numbers go. I wish they hadn't done 6,000, because I just feel like that's going to be a bit of a slow sell. If Elsa took almost a year, a little over a year, because I believe it was, about a year to sell out, because it was early August that they were released last year, and she just sold out. Anna just sold out during a flash sale, and those are cash cow for Disney. They're, you slap Frozen on something and everyone wants it. So if that was a slow sale, I can't imagine a second release of a doll we already have on a Playline version of, who is a little bit more quintessential. She's a bit more screen accurate. So that's where I think that they're going to have a problem if they just keep doing back and forths with the limited edition to Playline. And definite drawback to them releasing their next Disney release being a character we've already seen is there have been so many rumors, but so many, I think, wants for characters to come out. So instead of giving us Merida or Mulan or any other character, Disney princess or heroine even really, that people have been wanting and asking for, they gave us, I know it's again, it's Cinderella's anniversary and that's why they're doing this. It's a milestone anniversary. Trust me, Disney does this all the time. But they could have before that, or at least as well as that, given us a new character. I'm saying us as if I still collect, but you know what I mean. I'm still interested. So if they, hopefully the next, it won't. Hopefully, eventually, we will see these other characters that people want to see, and not other versions of dolls most of us already have if we care about it in the first place. And I know a lot of you have commented in other videos I've made about Disney dolls who you'd like to see. So let me know if you, I do think Merida's one a lot of people want to see. And I think she would make an interesting doll. So I would like to see her too, just to see how that wig would get done and what mold they would use. And all the other characters could be could have really great designs as well. So I would like to see Mulan and I would like to see other princesses or even non-princesses. But I think that Mattel only has the rights to Disney princesses and Disney Frozen. I don't think they have the rights to Hercules or any other movies like that where they do have other characters people love, but I don't think they would be able to get the rights as easily the way they could for these dolls. And of course, that's another thing you have to think about with the price is the license fee. I still don't understand how that works because it's like Mattel already has the licensing fees for these particular lines. So who knows what it all is. And so, as I said in my last reacting to new release video, we're not done yet. So I will see you soon for another reaction video, but I'll also see some of you before that with an unboxing video. So regardless, whatever videos I see you in the future, thanks for hanging out with me, and hopefully I'll see you soon in the next one.